Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A gloomy night for baseball, but we have baseball on the way. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill with you in the booth as the Hyannis Harbor Hawks take on the Falmouth Commodores from McKeon Park. Lincoln, the Harbor Hawks coming off a tough loss on Wednesday against the Harwich Mariners. What does this team have to do to bounce back tonight?
Yeah, to bounce back, you just got to keep on hitting the ball. We've gotten some hits in the past few games that have really helped us along. The key here as well is also to just get those key outs when we have to. We noticed in the game against Harwich the other night that during that seventh inning of play, we had a while where we struggled to get that first out. And getting that first out, as you know, of course, is that all-important out to ending that inning later on. And so it's just a key of finding that first out very early in the inning.
And we'll take you through the lineups tonight with the first pitch just moments away. Lincoln has the visiting Falmouth Commodores lineup as they'll be getting ready to step up to the plate in just a moment. Lincoln, who is in the lineup tonight for Falmouth?
All right, so for the Commodores, we have Luke Boyers starting us off in center field, followed by Michael Curiali, the second baseman. Braden Taylor batting third, followed by Alex Sayer, the designated hitter, and Jace Borfin batting in right field. Bryson Ware playing in at first base and batting sixth, followed by Anthony Hall. Jonathan French, the catcher, batting eighth, followed by Jake DeCouta playing in third. And then on the mound for the Commodores, we have Connor Beauvair coming in. So it should be a strong matchup.
Yeah, definitely a powerful offense. And Hyannis is rolling out a solid lineup of their own. Leading off tonight for the Harbor Hawks. And in center field is Caden Rose. Kyle Ball back in the two-hole playing his usual shortstop position. Jake Cunningham making his second consecutive start in right field and batting third tonight. Mason Greer, the third baseman, batting cleanup. Marcos Pujols is back at first base after a night off. He'll be in the 5 spot tonight. Dominic Johnson played DH against Harwich, but he's in right field tonight and batting 6. Batting 7 is Zane Harris. He'll be at DH tonight. Batting 8 is Dylan Post, the catcher. And batting 9 is Mariano Ricciardi, the second baseman. Harbor Hawk baseball just a few moments away. Stay tuned here for the first pitch at 6 o'clock here on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. First pitch is just moments away from Judy Walden's Scarifile Field here in Hyannis, Massachusetts, as you see Adrian Saravo, tonight's starting pitcher for Hyannis, take his final warm-up tosses. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill with you for another night of Harbor Hawk baseball. Lincoln?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. After that game the other night in Harwich. Yes, it was Harwich. I wanted to say Wareham, but I was like, no, we haven't been there yet. But yeah, after being in Harwich the other night and having that off day yesterday, it's very nice to be back at Judy Walden Scarifile Field.
Saravo is a right-handed pitcher wearing number 1 as you see the Harbor Hawks in the red uniforms on Fridays. Our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer will have more information on that later in the ball game, as the visiting Falmouth Commodores are in the black road jerseys with the gray pants. Most of the guys in the maroon and white stirrups. As the leadoff man for the Commodores steps in, it's Luke Boyers. He'll be getting the start tonight in center field. Saravo making his first start of the season for Hyannis. From Weatherford Junior College. And the first pitch of the night misses outside for a ball. Saravo had originally committed to UConn after his high school career, but then decided to forego his commitment and try to enter the 2020 MLB draft. But as we know, the draft was shortened due to the pandemic, and unfortunately for Saravo and all high school players from New England, there was not a single high school player drafted in the 2020 draft from New England. So his options were limited. He ended up at Weatherford Junior College and had an outstanding season, which we'll tell you about throughout this broadcast. Now here with Hyannis for this summer, with his eyes on the 2021 MLB draft.
Yeah, just some very impressive numbers for Saravo. 15 appearances and just over 100 difference between the strikeouts and balls, or strikeouts and walks, that is. 103 strikeouts and 33 walks. So a little less than 100 actually, but still very impressive.
And he starts off this ball game with a punch out. Gets Boyers down relatively quickly for out number 1. Talking with Saravo, he features that fastball, slider, and a changeup and splitter that he's working on. We'll see that a bunch throughout this ball game, but that fastball can be electric. He was the top high school player in New England heading into that draft in 2020, but as previously mentioned, it was shortened, and unfortunately he did not get drafted, but I believe a lot of the scouts here tonight are here to see Saravo. The 0-1 pitch. In the dirt, that's blocked by Dylan Post, the catcher tonight for Hyannis. It'll be Post behind the plate, Marcos Pujols back at first, Mariano Ricciardi at second, Kyle Ball at short, Mason Greer at third base. We'll get to the outfield in just a moment as the 1-1 misses high. And the outfield left is Dominic Johnson tonight. In center field, Caden Rose, he's starting to get comfortable out there. And in right field is Jake Cunningham making his second consecutive start. Saravo behind in the count, 2-0. Nice off-speed pitch, foul tipped, hung on to by Post. It's strike 2 either way. Saravo looking for back-to-back punch-outs to start the ball game. The pitch in the dirt and blocked by the catcher Post. Count moves to full at 3-2.
Curiali at 6'2", 195 pounds. Plays for UCLA.
Getting the start at second base tonight is the 2-hole hitter for Falmouth, and he takes a ball and he's on with a walk with 1 away. And Lincoln, in that game against Harwich, the walks were what came back to haunt Hyannis, as they allowed 3 walks and a single in that 7th inning before a bases clearing single and then a double, which brought in another run, make it a total of 4 runs coming home in the inning.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that it was a struggle to find that first out in that inning, and it came back to really bite us as we ended up blowing that early lead that we had in the second.
Saravo from the stretch, the first time in this ball game. Braden Taylor, the shortstop, digs in. He's batting in the 3-hole today for Falmouth. Taylor on the year is 4 for 13 at the dish, good for a .308 batting average. Pair of walks, 4 punch-outs, and 1 stolen base. Definitely a very disciplined hitter at the plate and a very mature hitter at the plate. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Harbor Hawks in their camo hats to go with the red jerseys tonight. The white pants per usual. Long pause from Saravo. The 2-0. Tries to get that outside corner, but can't get the slider to come back enough. It's 3-0. 81 on the slider. Wind blowing out a bit as the flag in right center field blows towards the trees. That could come into play at some point in this game. Looking to just fire a strike in on 3-0. He does just that. Called strike. Umpires tonight. Behind home plate is John Leone. Over at first base is Ronaldo Cochran. We've had him a couple times this season. And at third is Michael Hinosa. You'll see him behind the mound here as we go with the three-man umpiring crew, as we usually do. Long pause again from Saravo, the 3-1. Swung on and fouled down the third base line. Greer's going to try to give it a play. Johnson's in on it, and he just overran it, and it comes down foul. Count moves to 3-2. That was a tough play either way.
Yeah, it was. It started out as a sunny day today, but it's overcast now, and that ball definitely it can be a struggle to follow that ball as it becomes blended in with the clouds every once in a while. And as we saw, Johnson just overran it. He thought he had an eye on it, but ended up just moving a little bit too far.
Home plate umpire John Leone asking to turn the lights on, as Lincoln, you mentioned that overcast is making it very tough to see. It looks darker. Looks like it could be 7 or 8 o'clock. The 3-2 pitch once more. Runner goes. That ball is hit well to right field. Back on it is Cunningham. He's at the warning track, and it's off his glove. Runner's on his way to third. They'll hold him there. The ball gets away, but grabbed at second base for ball. And that's going to be a one-out double to put runners on second and third for the Commodores.
Yeah, and that was also a tough play as Cunningham was on the warning track, and in the back of his mind, he had the thought that he could run into that wall out in right field, and he jumped for the ball. I assume that he was actually anticipating hitting the wall, but he landed just a little bit short, and that ball ended up just going off of his glove. He had some other things on his mind.
Would love to get the exit velo on that ball. That was rocketed at Cunningham. Not really much of a chance to catch it, Lincoln, as you mentioned. Would have been a tough play if he was able to complete the catch.
Yeah, it would have been very impressive if he could have caught that, because that play is a lot harder than it looks.
Infield creeping in here with one away. First pitch there is a called strike to Alex Sayer, the designated hitter, the sophomore at Wright State. Sayer on the season is 2 for 5. A pair of RBI. And he fouls the 0-1 pitch back. Now behind in the count 0-2. 91 on the fastball. Lincoln, I'm expecting Saravo to go back to the slider here on 0-2. He's thrown it a lot here, thrown it a couple times for a strike, and a first pitch strike at that. And he really loves that slider.
Yeah, if he can get it to work, it's a great pitch to go with. If he can keep it in the zone and keep it consistent. We've seen the breaking ball be a little bit of trouble for consistency as far as this season has gone.
The 0-2 is flied to center field. Not sure Kyle Ball saw it. Caden Rose is in. He makes a catch. Runner is going to show a tag. He had no shot at that one. He'll head back to third base, and the Harbor Hawks holding the runners at second and third with now 2 away.
What a throw, honestly, from Rose coming in. He was in shallow center field, so he didn't have very much distance to throw it, but he just darted it in there and kept Curiali from coming home. Just a fantastic play from the center fielder.
And with 2 away, brings in Jace Borfin, the right fielder. The Oklahoma outfielder at 252, 2 homers, 18 RBI in 2021 at Oklahoma. That one is lined down the third baseline over the Harbor Hawk dugout for strike 1.
He was a little bit late on that one, but if he can line up with that one, he could take it quite a ways. As we saw, that foul ball was rocked and hit pretty hard down towards the crowd.
Saravo looking to work his way out of early trouble. The 0-1. Called strike at the knees at 91 miles per hour. 0-2 the count.
Saravo, Earlier in this inning, it seemed that he was having a little trouble finding his groove, but he's definitely in it now as he's thrown 2 great pitches to start this at-bat off.
Seems to have a good connection with the catcher, Dylan Post. Haven't seen him shake him off just yet. Seen a plethora of catchers here for the Harbor Hawks, including Post, Pendleton, and Hackenberg so far. The 0-2. Tried to freeze him with the backdoor slider, but it misses for a ball, 1-2.
Yeah, good decision for that 0-2 pitch. With an 0-2 count, you can afford to throw a pitch away and try to get the batter chasing, and that's exactly what he did.
One of the game day operations, he was talking to a scout that was
The 1-2.
tracking the pitches.
Fouled off. 78 miles per hour. It's like a changeup.
Had enough spin to come back, get everything right.
I think part of the hide might have come off. I saw a little something sticking up from the ball. I think it might have ripped open just a bit.
Is that something you put on a resume?
Runners on second and third. 2 away in the inning and 2 strikes to the hitter, Borfin. The pitch. Cut on and miss, and Adrian Saravo dances around danger as the Falmouth Commodores strand 2. Harbor Hawks coming up to the plate for the first time. This game on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here from Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field, Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill getting ready for the bottom of the first inning. Caden Rose, the leadoff man for Hyannis, digging in. As you might notice, some of the players with different jersey numbers today to go with those red uniforms. Rose, a guy who usually wears number 3 and number 6 tonight, as Connor Beauvair is on the hill for the Commodores, and Rose swinging at the first pitch and takes it right back up the middle for a leadoff single. And that's some aggressiveness you like to see out of Hyannis, getting base runners early on in ball games.
Yeah, and that at bat is a perfect reason of why I don't understand why a lot of coaches think that you should look at that first pitch, like that pitch right down the heart of the plate, and Rose just took it right back up the middle. Just a great hit there from the leadoff.
Here comes Kyle Ball for the first time in this game, the starting shortstop for Hyannis. And the dirt, first pitch, large secondary lead from Caden Rose. He's a little frustrated with himself as he claps his hands together, thought that he might be able to advance to second. Kyle Ball, a 2019 All-Star from the NECBL, another collegiate league. He was with the Keene Swamp Bats, hit .307 that summer. Looking to replicate that performance here in the Cape Cod Baseball League as he takes a ball below the zone, 2-0 the count. Ball wearing 27 tonight, typically wears 26. Rose with a decent-sized lead at first. That pitch is in the dirt. Rose is off to second, and he'll advance to second base. on a pitch in the dirt. He got a good jump anyways.
Yeah, he did, and a great jump, and he also had a little bit of a lucky bounce as that went off the chest protector of Jonathan French, and it just rolled right into fair territory. It wasn't, of course, it wasn't a ball put in play, but just a great little read there from Rose, and now he's in scoring position.
Ball looking to pick up his second RBI on the season. The 3-0, called strike. 3-1, had to expect the take sign was on there with 3-0 in the first inning.
Oh, of course, we've seen it. We've seen the green light put on once or twice this season so far with 3-0, but with a 0 count, you can always expect that a red light is going to be put on.
The 3-1. Ball takes on the outside corner, called strike. Count moves to full at 3-2. 90 miles per hour on the fastball from Beauvair. Right-hander from Siena College was 4-5 this season with a 5.34 ERA. He actually did have 4 complete games in his 9 starts, so when he is rolling, he can go the distance. Teams are still stretching out their starting pitching early on here in the Cape League. The 3-2 to ball. Takes ball forward, gets by the catcher French, and that's going to allow Rose to advance to third base. So the Harbor Hawks are in business early with runners on the corners and nobody out here in inning number 1.
And great concentration there from Ball. He was ahead in that count the whole at-bat, and he just did a good job of waiting patiently. He watched a couple of pitches go by, a couple of strikes, but in the end ended up coming out on top and reaching first base.
In steps the right fielder Jake Cunningham, making back-to-back starts. He made his season debut on a Wednesday versus Harwich, went 1 for 4 with a run scored. First pitch to Cunningham, he swings and fouls it back, behind in the count.
Connor Beauvair awarded Male Rookie of the Year for Siena, and then that will actually close out his career at Siena, as he announced on Twitter recently that he is actually transferring to North Carolina for the upcoming year.
Gets a little work in here in the summer before heading over to North Carolina, another decorated collegiate baseball program. The 0-1 to Cunningham is lined back up the middle, and the Harbor Hawks are going to jump out to an early 1-0 lead on the RBI single from Jake Cunningham.
Just another beautiful hit, ripped up the middle, this time coming from Jake Cunningham. Only his second game. He had a hit last night, has another hit already tonight. He's really out to a fast start here for the Harbor Hawks.
And with still nobody out in the inning, the cleanup man Mason Greer getting ready to dig in from the left side.
From the sideline we do with Mason Greer before the game. That's on YouTube.
Harbor Hawks fans, you can check out the From the Sideline interview with our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer, who caught up with Mason Greer before the game. That's on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks YouTube page. Taylor does a great job catching up with all the players. You can really get to know some of the guys on this roster. At some point, I'm sure she'll have an interview with every single one of them.
Oh, yeah. I went out with her to get some interviews at one day, and we got at least 7, 8 people all at once in about 20 minutes worth of time. Really efficient, really effective interviewer.
Definitely worth the watch, too. Get to know the guys that you'll be seeing for the next 35 games or so. The 0-1 to Greer. Can't catch up with the fastball behind 0-2 in the count.
Gotta love that swing. He saw that elevated fastball, and he wanted to take it for a ride. He just couldn't find contact.
Greer's 2 for 7 on the season with a double. The 0-2. And he can't connect again. It looks like 3 straight fastballs retires Mason Greer for out number 1.
And you'll have to see that aggression from Greer. He has, as you mentioned, he has a couple of hits, and one of them I thought was going to be a home run as it landed off the bottom of the fence. So he has power. He's looking for that right hit, but as of now, he's just having a little bit of trouble. And luckily, that's only his first at-bat, so he still has a few more coming up tonight.
And with 1 away, runners still on first and second. That brings up the first baseman, Marcos Pujols, as he greets the umpire and catcher. And digs in for his first cuts, looking for his first hit of the season. He's taking some good swings at the dish. The first pitch, off speed, misses high for a ball, 1-0. Beauvair wanted to steal a strike with the curveball, but left it 2 up in the zone. Don't want to leave that above the belt to Pujols. He'll take it over the fence.
No, we saw a couple of home runs in batting practice earlier today as he was displaying his power and just getting a chance, waiting for his chance to show it here in a game.
Looked like a home run swing there, but just was over the top of the pitch. Count evens up at 1-1. Dominic Johnson on deck for Hyannis. Beauvair worked himself into early trouble, a single, a walk, and an RBI single for Cunningham, who's on first. Hyannis leads 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Pujols looking to add on, takes a ball, 2-1.
Now, it's actually been a few days since Pujols has gotten an appearance. His last appearance coming against the Brewster Whitecaps back on Tuesday evening.
Pujols from the Dominican Republic, his favorite player, David Ortiz. Wind still blowing to right field, and Pujols swings over the top of a changeup. Count evens up at 2-2, and that's where his power is really, to right field. He definitely can go opposite way, but we've seen in batting practice, Lincoln, like you mentioned, when he gets a ball on that inside part of the plate, he can really turn on it.
Yeah, that inside part of the plate can prove deadly, as we've seen many times so far this season. Lots of home runs in the few games that we've had so far.
The 2-2 in the dirt and blocked by French, the catcher. He's having a workout in the first inning early on. A few pitches in the dirt. And the count's full, 3-2, 1 away. The dimensions here at Judy Walden Scarifile Field, 321 down the right field line to Greek's Pole, 390 in center, and 318 to left. A little bit of a smaller ballpark than we saw Wednesday in Harwich, where it was 330 to each pole and 400 to center. The 3-2. That one's lined to shortstop, caught there, flipped onto second, and it's a double play to end the inning. Pujols just hit it right at him, and Beauvair gets out of danger with just one run across, but nonetheless, the Harbor Hawks have a lead. We head to the top of the second, back in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Number 8, Bryson Ware.
Adrian Saravo taking the hill for the top of the second inning, looking to replicate his success from inning number 1. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you in the booth as the Harbor Hawks have jumped out to an early 1-0 lead, thanks to an RBI single from Jake Cunningham, the right fielder.
And that's exactly what you want to see from this Harbor Hawks team. Getting hits early on in the game and scoring runs off of those hits, getting those hits at the right time. And an early lead is exactly what we needed here in this game tonight.
Bryson Ware at the dish for Falmouth. He's behind 0-2. Saravo's pitch. Thought about it, but held up. They'll check with first base umpire Ronaldo Cockrum, and he'll say, yes, indeed, Ware held up. Count moves to 1-2. Bryson Ware from Auburn. 43 games played in 2021. Hit 6 homers. Drove in 26 runs and batted .254. Lots of pop from the right side of the plate as well at 6'2". Definitely groove the baseball. The 2-2. Called strike 3. And Saravo gets Ware looking for out number 1.
Yeah, and Ware, along with those stats that you mentioned, at Auburn, he had ended the season with 56 strikeouts. And we've seen if you can get it just exactly in the right spot in the zone, you can get him out by either looking or swinging. And in that instance, we got him looking.
With one away, in steps Anthony Hall, the left fielder, as he takes a called strike. From Oregon, 2021, he hit .286 with 6 homers, 36 RBI. And he swings at that 0-1 fastball and pops it up. Mariano Ricciardi back on it, but Cunningham, the right fielder, makes the call and the catch for out number 2.
And this is a really quick inning compared to that first one. We had a first out back in that first inning, but went through 2 batters before getting that second out. So this is a total opposite from that first inning.
In steps Jonathan French. The catcher from Clemson. Teammates with the Hyannis catcher Adam Hackenberg. The two form the catching duo at Clemson. The 0-1. Inside for a ball, 1-1 the count. He redshirted in 2020 with an injury, broke a leg in a scrimmage in February. We're glad to see French is healthy and back behind the dish here this summer. He's behind in the count to Saravo 1-2. And Adrian Saravo has been very impressive early. And I know he's a guy that's on all the scouts' radars here tonight, so they should be leaving impressed. The 1-2. That one's lined to right center field. It's going to get into the gap. Jay Cunningham's after it. French takes a turn, heading for second, stumbles a bit. The throw from right field is not in time. It's a 2-out double to extend the inning as French gets in safely.
Well, it looks like I'm eating crow for about the 50th time this season so far. We're only in, what is this, game number 4? And I've eaten crow probably over 15, 20 times now.
I'm not either. But just in playoffs, I'll follow. Like I know that's
I think Austin, all truth here, I think I might be bad luck.
Well, I don't know about bad luck, but it seems like when you say one thing, sometimes the opposite happens.
Most of the time. Not
all the time. Not all the time.
About 90%.
And that one's lined to center field. Rose coming in on it. It's going to get down for a base hit. French is on his way home. The throw from Rose is cut off. The throw to second by Saravo is too high. So it's an RBI single, and he advances to second as the Commodores have tied this ball game at 1.
Yeah, and after those 2 quick outs, we've had back-to-back hits, and one of them RBI, and that lead for the Harbor Hawks short-lived as we now have a tie game.
Back to the top of the order for the Commodores as Luke Boyers digs in. He went down on strikes to open up the ball game. Ducard on second after the RBI hit. Saravo's pitch misses outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. He's been consistent at 91 miles per hour. Boyer is from TCU. He is also from Texas, Lincoln, from your home state.
Yeah, I've driven past TCU a handful of times in my time down there. Don't go by there often, but I've driven there a few times.
He hit 307 there with 4 doubles, 22 RBI, and 1 homer in 2021. The 2-0 pitch swung and fouled back off towards the photographer behind home plate. Harbor Hawks looking to bounce back tonight after the loss on Wednesday to Harwich on this 70-degree night.
Now look at this, Austin. Boyers was actually not just a dual sport, a multi-sport athlete in high school. I'll explain that after this pitch.
That one's grounded to third. Mason Greer's there, the throw to first, and the inning is over.
And I'll get to it later instead.
All right, well, the Commodores have tied the ball game up. Hyannis looking to get the run back in just a moment. Bottom of the second inning, just moments away as Dominic Johnson, the left fielder, gets ready to dig in. Johnson 1 for 10 on the season, but that one hit was the important 2-run home run against DeCouta earlier in the week. It's been a long week, Lincoln. It's funny to say it's earlier in the week. It seems like it was a week or two ago.
Yeah, it does. It's been whenever I realized this was only game number 4, it's been a very long weekend indeed.
Would have been game 5, but halfway through the Brewster game that was canceled, so technically it doesn't even exist.
Game? What game? What are you talking about?
All right, never happened. Johnson was the DH against Harwich, back in the field tonight, and he can't connect on a fastball. The count evens up at 1-1. Wearing number 3 with the red jerseys tonight. Still got the orange and blue Harbor Hawk batting gloves. Most of the team members have those. The 1-1. Outside for a ball, 2-1 the count. Beauvair's been efficient so far. Had a little bit of a shaky start. Allowed a single, a walk, then a single. But then got a strikeout in a double play to end the bottom of the first. The 2-1. Misses high. Johnson very patient at the plate as well. Has done a nice job working 2 walks this season.
Yeah, he's been able to battle a lot so far this season, and plenty of at-bats have gone quite a ways.
It's a good base runner, too, if he can get on. The 3-1. Popped up. Over towards second as Curiali is in shallow right field, and he'll make the catch leaning back for out number 1.
Yeah, and right as that ball went in the air, you saw Curiali actually sort of move around quite a bit as that ball started on its descent. The wind picked up right as that ball left the bat of Johnson, and that really proved to be quite a problem there for Curiali, but he ended up making the grab anyway.
In steps Zane Harris, the designated hitter tonight, wearing number 9. Batting .286 on the season. He's 2 for 7 with a double. Swinging on the first pitch and fouls it back.
Heads up.
Another note, announcement made just now that fans get to keep any foul balls, as we saw in Harwich. That can prove out to be quite a battle at times.
In Harwich, they have fistfights for the foul balls between the kids. You can get really scrappy over there.
Yeah, straight up dog piles, a couple of mobs.
I don't see any kids running in groups tonight.
No.
I see a few of them scattered around with gloves, but in Harwich it was like an angry mob of 8-year-olds trying to get foul balls.
Which can be quite scary at times.
It can.
Sometimes.
There was some scrapes, bumps, bruises. They left and they went right to bed, I think, when they got home.
Most likely,
they were
yes.
definitely exhausted.
Yeah, that was a workout for sure.
Harris ahead in the count 2-1. A very talented first baseman, designated hitter, and he hits that ball well to right field. It is
Adios,
high,
amigo.
It is far, and it is gone.
Holy cow.
Zane Harris crushed that one for his first home run of the Cape Cod season, and that puts the Harbor Hawks back on top by a score of 2-1.
And you know, Austin, it's like I said, you get that inside fastball, and it can be dangerous for a pitcher, as we saw just then. That inside fastball came in right around the thigh, and Harris just ended up taking it yard, just an absolute bomb off the bat. And now we have the lead back once again.
That'll bring up the catcher, Dylan Post, after the solo home run. He hits that one on the ground to second. Picked up by Curiali. The throw to first is in time for out number 2. So a good bounce back pitch by Beauvair to get the next batter on the first pitch.
And, you know, I think we see that a lot more than any of us would like, where someone hits a home run and then the very next batter, it's like a nice little routine out because the batter just wants to sort of match that home run with his own home run, and it most of the time it doesn't play out the way we want it to.
Mariano Ricciardi at the dish for the first time in the 9-hole today. Hit leadoff the first couple of games, now switched with Caden Rose. He'll look to do some damage from the 9-hole. The first pitch to Ricciardi. Slider that came inside for a ball, 1-0. Back at second base after getting the night off in Harwich. Ryan Romano was over there and had 2 hits and 2 RBI in that game for the Harbor Hawks. Ricciardi swinging, and that one's hit to left field. It's curving towards the bullpen, and it's going to get out of play for a foul ball. Nice catch made by one of the fans in the lawn chairs down by the bullpen.
Did somebody just dig that one out of the bushes a little bit?
I think it took a hop, and he was able to grab it. That one's flared behind third. It's going to drop, but foul. Ricciardi behind in the count, 1-2. Very talented opposite field hitter. We've seen it in this at-bat. He did it well at Dayton. He had a double in the Brewster game that, unfortunately, the stats won't show for it, but it was to left field. The 1-2 to Ricciardi awaits with 2 away in the inning. A Zane Harris home run, the difference so far in the ballgame. The 1-2 from Beauvair. Taps foul again. Ricciardi not going down easily, fighting off the good pitches and waiting for his to drive.
Yeah, we've talked about all the battles that have come up so far in this season, and Ricciardi has had a couple himself. He's really just a fighter at the plate, trying to get that right pitch and fighting off everything else that comes his way.
The 1-2 from Beauvair is a hanging slider that doesn't slide for a strike to even the count at 2-2. The 2-2 misses outside for a ball, and Ricciardi doing a great job working the count here to bring it to full.
He's fought all the way back here. Let's see if he can do something with this pitch or reach base somehow.
The 3-2. That one's lined again to left field, curving towards the bullpen, and again out of play. No Souvenir this time. That one's too far in the bushes.
They're going to try.
Yeah, I think someone's going to, there are a couple kids coming down, seeing if they can fight their way through for that foul ball. Quite a coveted souvenir at these games.
Count remains full at 3-2. Beauvair looking to retire Ricciardi, who just won't go down. The pitch. Inside, and what an at-bat from Mariano Ricciardi. Had to have been somewhere near 8 or 10 pitches, that at-bat. Eight pitch at-bat there from Ricciardi, and he draws the walk.
Yeah, just another long battle there, and Ricciardi came out on top. And you just love to see just such a pitcher, just a batter-pitcher battle that is, and Ricciardi just doing a great job there.
With 2 outs, that brings in the top of the order with Caden Rose, who singled on the first pitch he saw in the bottom of the first inning. So back up here in the bottom of the second inning. Rose would come around to score on the Jake Cunningham RBI single. Watch the steal. Ricciardi's got a big lead over there at first. The 1-0. Rose swinging and just gets a piece of it, but it's held on to for French. A strike either way. Count evens up at 1-1. Long pause from Beauvair, the 1-1. Grounded foul towards the Harbor Hawk dugout down the third base line. The count moves to 1-2 with 2 away. Ricciardi gets his lead at first. Flag still dancing around in right center. Ricciardi goes on the pitch. Rose swings and hits it to center field. Pretty well hit, but coming in on it to make the catch to end the inning is Boyers. The Harbor Hawks get a run back thanks to the Zane Harris solo shot. Heading to the top of the third, Hyannis leads by 1. Top of the third inning, getting ready to get underway. Adrian Saravo back on the hill. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill back in the booth. Michael Cariali getting to step up to the plate for the second time in the ball game. He walked back in the first inning, was stranded over at third. About 45 minutes into the ball game. As we get ready, check swing, but it's put in play. Pujols has got to take it himself for out number 1, a 3 unassisted on an excuse me type of swing.
Yeah, I'm not really sure excuse me, oh my goodness. Voice crack. But I'm not really sure Cariali tried to swing at that one. I know he checked his swing But I don't think he meant to put that one in play, as that one came in a little bit on the inside, but he ended up hitting it off the handle of his bat and just did not go his way. Didn't take the right bounce.
And with one away in the inning, Taylor steps in for the second time, the shortstop. He doubled back in inning number 1, but another man who was left stranded by the Commodores early in the ballgame. Saravo did a nice job getting out of danger. He'll look to have an efficient inning here, as he has to this point. Braden Taylor from West Jordan, Utah, from Cooper Hills High School. And he swings and hits that one well to right field. It's going to hang up a bit for Jake Cunningham, and he'll make the catch for out number 2.
Well, Cunningham didn't even have to move for that one. He took a little hop over and just stood patiently waiting for it underneath the scoreboard as that came almost directly to him.
Here come Alex Sayer, the designated hitter. First pitch in the dirt for a ball, 1-0. Sayer flew out to center field back in the first inning. Caden Rose out there in center has had a busy start to the day. The 1-0, called strike at the knees, 1-1 the count.
Got your blue? 1-1.
The 1-1. Inside, 2-1 the count. Fastball just came in a little bit up top for him.
Sayer originally from Dover, Ohio.
3-1 the count. Saravo utilizing that fastball slider combination and has been utilizing it well to this point. So far for the Commodores, 1 run on 3 hits. The Harbor Hawks with 2 runs on 3 hits. No errors for either team. The 3-1. Popped up. Straight behind home plate. Post flips the mask. He's going to come give it a look. Dancing around, and it's going to drop as he may have lost it in the clouds as the count moves to full.
Yeah, and those clouds proving to be a menace is very similar color to that baseball, and just sometimes it can be very easy to lose it. You have it for a moment, and then it just goes into a wrong set of clouds, and you just lose it forever.
Fortunately for Alex Sayer, it dropped, and he'll get another hack at it. The 3-2 with 2 away. Saravo takes a deep breath in the pitch. Popped up again behind home plate. This time it's definitely out of play as the count will remain full.
Sayer this season at Wright State ended with a .383 average. Had 51 hits for 40 RBIs.
The 3-2 again. And he takes for a ball just low as it's a walk with 2 away in the inning.
You know, that foul ball just ended up being a little unlucky as that one fell just a couple feet there from post. Would have been the 3rd out, but instead Sayer just 2 pitches later now on first.
Second walk issued by Saravo. He'll have to face Borfin again as he swings and grounds that one foul towards the Commodore visitor dugout down the first base line. Borfin struck out back in inning number 1 as he gets the start today in right field. Strikeout ended the top of the first inning.
Harbor Hawk bullpen getting active. Derek Cherry out there awaiting his turn on the mound.
Pause in the 0-1. Cut on and miss. A nasty off-speed pitch there by Saravo as the bottom drops out of that changeup. 0-2 now. And it looks like the rotation will continue to go 3 innings for the starters as Lincoln mentioned Derek Cherry ramping up his activity in the bullpen. Saravo nearing the end of his 3rd inning of work. Long pause from Saravo. He checks the runner. The 0-2, foul tipped off the glove of post, and the count will remain at 0-2.
And he barely got a piece of that one. I didn't hear it go off the bat. I thought that just went right off the glove of post, and so very fortunate that wasn't a drop third strike, as that would have been a tough play, as that rolled quite a bit away from post.
Big lead over at first, and the 0-2 is home. The pitch is popped up. Shallow center field. Rose coming in, ball going back. It's Rose who makes the call to end the inning. The Commodores strand one. Hyannis still holds on to a one-run lead. We head to the bottom of the third on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network.
Yeah.
Back here for the bottom of the third inning. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill ready to get things started here for Hyannis as they hold on to a 2-1 lead. An RBI single from Jake Cunningham back in the bottom of the first, and then a solo home run, which was a moonshot to right field by Zane Harris back in the bottom of the second, have gotten us to this 2-1 lead. The Harbor Hawks got a solid start so far from Adrian Saravo. He'll likely be replaced by Derek Cherry in the next inning, but we will see what happens when we get to that point. Kyle Ball in here for the second time in the ball game. Counts even at 1-1 to Ball. He drew a walk back in the first inning, but was left stranded at second.
Here, but not here's the pitcher stretching in their bullpen too.
The 1-1 misses outside for a ball. 2-1 the count. Pretty solid attendance tonight here in Hyannis. A couple hundred fans. We'll have an exact number later in the ball game for you. 2-1 to Ball is hit well to first base off the ankle of the first baseman. Ball dives in safely, and that will probably be ruled an infield single. We'll double check on the official score.
Yeah, I'd imagine that'll be got down as an infield single. That was just a hard hit ball, and that went just off of the foot of Ware over there, and that's just, and they're going to count it as an error. Well then.
Off the cleat of Ware at first base, goes down as an error, so no hit for Kyle Ball.
I'm wrong again.
In steps Jake Cunningham. No outs in the inning. Cunningham had the RBI single, which drove in Caden Rose from second base. Or from third base, rather. He moved up to third on a wild pitch in the first inning. Ball gets his lead at first. The pitch home. Grounded in between short and third, and it's going to get by into left field, which puts runners on first and second with still nobody out in the inning.
Yeah, and that base hit was just placed perfectly. That was just out of reach over there of DeCouta. Just a great hit there, and Another base hit there for Cunningham.
His third hit and only his second appearance now. 2 hits in this ball game, 1 against Harwich, which brings in Mason Greer, who went down swinging back in the first inning. Nobody out in the inning. Some action now in the Commodore bullpen as a left-hander gets loose. Called strike to Greer on the outside corner. A little bit off the plate at 86 miles per hour. With Pujols on deck, then Johnson, then Harris. You have then Post following, and then Ricciardi. So it's a lefty, righty, lefty, lefty, lefty due up for Hyannis. So that would make sense why there's a left-hander warming up in the Commodore bullpen.
And that left-hander warming up is Anthony DeFabia from Stetson University.
Beauvair would like to work out of this himself. The pitch to Greer is popped up to center field. Boyers is camped under it. He makes the catch. Nobody will tag. And there's one away now in the inning.
And that was a relatively routine fly ball for Boyers. He had to move over just a little bit over to his right, but ended up making the grab pretty easily for out number 1. And Greer's had been having a little bit of trouble at the plate recently. I hope he can get out of that struggle here pretty soon.
1 out now in the inning. Marcos Pujols digs in. Lincoln, he's been pretty impressive in batting practice. We're hoping that can translate to the game.
Yeah, so far he's hitless this season. He's 0 for 9 now on the season. So hopefully we can see that power like he has been in batting practice.
He hit the ball well back in the first, but it was just right at the shortstop Taylor, who then doubled off Kyle Ball, and he ropes that one down the first base line. Heads up, down the Commodore bullpen. Might have bounced up and hit a player. Everyone seems to be okay.
And if that could have dropped fair, that would have been just the perfect base hit for your first base hit of the season. Would have been just great.
1 out, 1 strike, no balls.
The 0-1. Pujols lays off a slider in the dirt. 1-1 the count.
Good eye there. That inside slider looked really tempting there.
Just a little stoppage here as the left-hander warming up in the bullpen. As the bullpen's down the right field line for the visiting team, down the left field line, but nobody was protecting the bullpen catcher. Pujols has ripped a couple foul balls that way during the game, so they're going to get somebody to shade the catcher to make sure he doesn't get hit by a foul ball. That's a called strike to Pujols on the outside corner. Looks like the pitchers are going to get that corner tonight.
Yeah, that's something we haven't seen in a couple games so far, is where that umpire just didn't give any ground on the outside corner. We've seen some pitchers struggle trying to find that outside corner, but both pitchers doing a good job of finding it tonight.
The look in at the signs from Beauvair. The catcher front sets up the 1-2, and a swing and a miss. Pujols can't connect on the off-speed pitch in the dirt, and there are now 2 away for Hyannis.
And you can tell Pujols wants to hit. He's very aggressive at the plate. He's swinging the bat. He just can't connect, and when he does connect, it's right at somebody. He's still looking for that perfect place to hit that ball.
The wind picking up a bit as the flag moves around more rapidly in right center. The area where Dominic Johnson, who steps in, launched his first homer of the season. That was the first homer for the Harbor Hawks this year. With 2 away in the inning and runners on first and second, he'd love to put a ball in play. He does, but it's popped up behind home, drifting off towards the netting, and what a catch made by the catcher French to end the inning. It curves back in play, and fortunately for Falmouth, it's a 1-pitch out to get out of danger. The Harbor Hawks strand 2. We head to the top of the 4th with the Harbor Hawks leading 2-1 in just a moment. Our sideline reporter caught up with the jerseys this morning for the Harbor Hawks. They're wearing the red with the camo hats today, and our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer has some more info on those jerseys.
Baseball League celebrates Red Shirt Friday by each Friday the home team wearing these stunning new red jerseys. in support of a program created to recognize our troops.
Thank you for that info, Taylor. We will have those red jerseys worn by the home team on Fridays. So the Harbor Hawks donning them today. Derek Cherry will be taking the hill for the Harbor Hawks this inning, the right-handed pitcher wearing number 8 in the red with the matching tan glove and the black and white shoes.
We will be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
And Austin, with those red jerseys, we're actually going to be wearing them 3 times this season in those 6 weeks, 3 home and 3 away games on those Fridays. So we'll be seeing these red jerseys again here in a couple weeks.
And we'll see the visiting teams. Derek Cherry making his second appearance of the season. Fired 2/3 of an inning and walked a batter. No runs or hits allowed. That was back on opening night in Bourne. Features a powerful fastball and a solid changeup that dips off the outside corner. As Cherry gets ready to work through this Falmouth Commodore lineup here in the top of the 4th inning.
Cherry also from the University of Houston, just like our catcher Dylan Post, just a Cougar battery, you might say.
These two should have a solid connection as we get ready to start things off here.
First baseman from Auburn, number 8, Bryson Ware.
Bryson Ware digging in for the second time in the ball game, playing first base today from Auburn. 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in inning number 2. He went down looking. First pitch of the night from Derek Cherry. Dart down the middle for a called strike at 92. Cherry, a very efficient worker on the hill, gets the ball and likes to go quick. The 0-1. And a kind of an excuse me type of swing, just tipped the ball and didn't go all the way through, but it's a strike. 0-2 to Ware, in danger of punching out for the second time in the ball game. The 0-2 from Cherry. That ball is hit really well down the left field line, but very well out of play. That thing was hit a mile, but also a mile out of play, unfortunately for Ware.
Yeah, that could have been fair. That would have been gone quite a distance, possibly out of the park, and we might have had that ball could have ended in a tie game, but instead just a long strike.
The 0-2 is cut on and missed for strike 3. And Ware goes down swinging this time, his second time he's been punched out, and the first batter Derek Cherry faces, he retires with the strikeout.
Just a great start for Cherry here tonight. He had a good game against Bourne last week, and he's doing a great job on the mound here tonight. He's still early in his outing, but so far he's off to a great start.
First pitch swinging for Anthony Hall, the left fielder. Mason Greer moving towards his right, and he makes the catch for out number 2, so a one-pitch pop-up. And Derek Cherry, efficient through 2.
A little bit scary play there from Greer as he thought he had settled under it and then ended up having to reach over and make that grab with his left hand at the last second. Just a scary out, but an out nonetheless.
2 outs in the inning. Here comes the catcher, Jonathan French. He made a solid play behind the plate to end the bottom of the 3rd inning. First pitch by Cherry's low in the dirt for a ball. 1-0 the count now. Jake Ducard on deck, the 8-hitter, as French gets a start in the 7-hole tonight in the Commodore order. Left-hander still working out in that bullpen for Falmouth. Nobody moving in the Hyannis bullpen, so seems like Cherry may be asked to go a couple innings. As we mentioned, the starters through the first time in the rotation have all gone 3 innings. Started off with Seth Halverson opening night, followed by Cade Halimanu We saw Andrew Baker in the rainout. He did throw 3. Not going to register on the stat sheet. And then Hunter Dula against Harwich, which brought us to tonight. And Adrian Saravo got the start and was very efficient through 3 innings, Lincoln. 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run allowed. Did walk 2, but struck out 4.
Wow, that's just a great debut there from Dula. Looking forward to a great season from him.
Yeah, Saravo was great tonight. Dula was great on Wednesday in Harwich. Cherry's been efficient as Saravo's replacement here in the 4th inning. Behind to Jonathan French, 3-1 the pitch. Swung on and hit well to left center field. That ball is way out of McKeon Park as Jonathan French has tied the ball game at 2 apiece. And man, he put a charge into that one.
Yes, he did. That one, similar to the Zane Harris home run in that as soon as it left the bat, you knew that was going quite a ways out of the park. My goodness, just a shot there from Jonathan French. And that's the second time he's reached home today. He had a double earlier on in the game, and now he's touched all 4.
French swinging the bat well today for the Commodores. And the scoreline is nearly identical with 2 runs and 4 hits apiece for the 2 teams. Falmouth does have 1 error. And we're back to where we started, all tied up. That brings up Jake DeCouta as he swings on the first pitch and hits it on the ground to first to Marcos Pujols. He flips on the Cherry covering to end the inning. A solo home run by Jonathan French has tied the ball game at 2. Hyannis looking to respond, bottom of the 4th in just a moment. Bottom of the 4th inning, just moments away from Judy Walden Scarifile Field here in Hyannis, Massachusetts. But first, a message here from Curry College. Curry College, where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs including new majors in sport and recreation management, graphic design, marketing, and computer science. Online at www.curry.edu. New pitcher on the hill now for the Falmouth Commodores. It's a left-hander, Anthony DeFabia from Stetson. He'll face his teammate Kyle Ball at some point, I'm sure. Zane Harris going to be first up against DeFabia. And Harris, if you remember, hit that solo home run back in the bottom of the 2nd inning. An absolute moonshot down the right field line just to the left of Greek's pole.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of moonshots here tonight as each team has 1 on the night.
Harris was one of the best hitters in the country in 2021. Batted .347, 5 homers, 55 RBI, and 14 doubles. looking to replicate his success this summer with Hyannis, and he's done just that in this ball game. The 1-1, that ball is lined to right field for a base hit. Into the corner near the pole, Harris is on his way to second base now as he cruises into second with a leadoff double, the second extra base hit of the game for Zane Harris.
And Zane Harris tonight has already matched his season hit total. He had 2 hits coming into tonight. He already has 2 hits tonight. And he's really just hitting opposite of French. Both have a home run, both have a double, just in opposite at-bats. Very good outing for both of those players tonight, and just love to see this much success from Harris in this game as he has all season.
In steps Dylan Post. They brought in the left-hander DeFabia, as it was Harris, Post, Ricciardi, all lefties due up to start the inning. That one misses for a ball to Dylan Post. Getting the start behind the dish tonight, the Houston catcher. As we know, the Harbor Hawks rotate the 3 catchers so far between Post and Caleb Pendleton and Adam Hackenberg. As Post swings at that one and taps it foul down the first base line, out of play. Count moves to 1-1 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's like a 30-second lag, but how do you get the comments? You have to watch on like the desktop, I think. I don't know if there are any comments right now.
The 1-1 from DeFabia. Slider that didn't slide far enough. 2-1 the count. The 2-1. And cut on and miss. Fouled off, held on to by French. 2-2 the count.
Nice hack there from Post. He wants to hit the ball, and he wants to hit it far. It's just a matter of finding that pitch and setting it on that wood.
On an overcast night here in June, the Harbor Hawks tied up with the Falmouth Commodores at 2 apiece. A solo home run from Zane Harris, an RBI single from Jake Cunningham on the Harbor Hawk side of things. As Dylan Post taps that one on the ground to the right side, picked up on the ground at second, throw on to first in time for out number 1. And Post does his job and puts Harris 90 feet away now with 1 away.
Yeah, that's really what you want to do if you're Post with a runner on second. What you want to do with nobody out is really just extend that runner, and that's exactly what he did, hitting it over to the opposite side of the field. Just a beautiful piece of hitting there from Post and being able to extend Harris.
With 1 away in the inning, that brings up Mariano Ricciardi, the second baseman. He worked an 8-pitch walk back in the first, or the second inning rather, his first at bat, as he grounds that one to third. The throw home, and they got Harris caught in a rundown, but he's going to get back safely as nobody covered third base. Harris draws the throw, Ricciardi safe at first, and it's going to be ruled a fielder's choice, as that puts runners on the corners with 1 away. That wasn't the intention by Harris. He was looking to score, but nonetheless, it works out to the Harbor Hawks' favor.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of confused as to whether he wanted to draw the throw, but I mean, I doubt he did, but you know, that could have been the motive. But either way, very fortunate for the Harbor Hawks, as now they have runners on the corners.
Here's Caden Rose. He really hits left-handed pitching well. He's already got a single in this ball game off the right-handed starter. That was Connor Beauvair. Beauvair went 3 innings for Falmouth. Gave up 2 runs tonight. DeFabia in here on the hill now for the Commodores in his second appearance, as Rose fouls that one back. DeFabia on the year is 1-0, credited with that win that Falmouth had earlier in the year. He went 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. A good mix of pitches allows him to have some success on the hill. Caden Rose would like to spoil that early success if possible.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the Falmouth Commodores just one hit. The Harbor Hawks and Commodores actually back-to-back in the West Division. Falmouth at 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 tie for a total of 3 points. The Harbor Hawks right behind them, 1 win and 2 losses for a total of 2 points. Falmouth currently in second, and Hyannis currently in a 3-way tie for third, along with DeCouta and Wareham.
That pitch misses for a ball, 2-1. A lot of teams finding their footing early on in the season. Some scores from around the lead as the Brewster Whitecaps lead the Chatham Anglers 4-2. Katuitt leads the YD Red Sox 14-2 in the bottom of the 6th. As that one is popped up. Oh, it's a shallow right field. I don't know if it will be deep enough to get Harris from third. He'll fake and draw a throw. And it's out number 2.
Well, if Harris would have tried to go home on that, if he would have tried to tag it, would have definitely been a close play. It would have, couldn't tell whether he would have made it or not, as that was a pretty good throw there coming in from Borfin, and just fortunate out there.
And finishing off with the scores from around the league, Bourne and Harwich tied at 0 in the top of the 2nd, and Wareham leads Orleans 2-0, bottom of the 2nd there, with the Gatemen on top. In steps Kyle Ball, the shortstop. Takes on the outside corner for a ball, 1-0.
Well, and you called it, Austin. It's the Stetson showdown. Ball up against DeFabia.
And Ball looking to win the battle, but for now fouls it off 1-1. Kyle Ball to this point walked back in the first inning and reached on an error in inning number 3. Ricciardi takes his lead at first, Harris at third. The pitch home to Ball is grounded back to the mound. DeFabia gets it, the throw on to first in time to end the inning. The Harbor Hawks strand a pair. We head to the top of the 5th, knotted up at 2 from McKeon Park. Ready to go here in the top of the 5th inning. Derek Cherry back on the hill for his 2nd inning of work out of the Harbor Hawk bullpen. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill ready to go for our 5th inning of work in the Harbor Hawk broadcast booth. Cherry got the first 2 batters last inning, but then allowed a solo home run off the bat of the catcher, Jonathan French from Clemson. He's 2 for 2 to the day. And that ball was hit very, very well, Lincoln.
Yeah, very well, just the wrong direction.
Right.
Oh.
That one scorched down the first base line towards the Commodore bullpen.
One of their relievers almost nabbed that one with their glove. Just came off the tip.
Walter
Ahuna
Ahuna goes down on strikes.
from the University of Kansas.
There's pinch hitting there for, looks like Boyers. So it was Boyers who got the start in center field. Ahuna who comes in for him, which brings up Curiali, the second baseman, with one away in the inning.
And this one actually is Curiani. That's not another hidden pinch hitter.
Curiali 0 for 1 on the day with a walk. Was left stranded at third. As he's behind quickly, 0-2. Derek Cherry efficiently working in this ball game. Really, besides the one pitch to French, he's been very good.
Yeah, he has. And like I said earlier, back in Bourne, he had a good outing there, had another good outing here.
The 0-2 from Cherry. Tries to shoot the outside corner, but ends up too low for a ball, 1-2. The 1-2 from Cherry. Called strike 3. He rings up Curiali for out number 2.
Beautiful fastball on that inside corner, and he just had Curiali standing still after that pitch as he had leaned back a bit, looked back at the umpire, and then walked off towards the dugout.
Third punch out of the pen for Derek Cherry.
He's had back-to-back so far in this inning.
That brings up Braden Taylor, the shortstop. That one gets away for a ball, 1-0. Taylor in the ball game. 1 for 2 with a double. Some action now in the Harbor Hawk bullpen as a right-hander begins to throw. The 1-0. Called strike, 1-1 the count. Cherry continues to pound the strike zone.
It looks to be Angus McCloskey getting warmed up for the Harbor Hawks.
The 1-1. Thought about going around, holds up, it's called a ball, 2-1. Taylor was a 2021 Big 12 Freshman of the Year and a 2021 All Big 12 second team selection. First team All-State as a junior in high school. Just a decorated resume. The 3-1 to Taylor, and that one's hit well to right field. In on is Cunningham. He gets by him, takes a bad hop, and gets by Jake Cunningham to the wall. Taylor's around second, heading for third. It's picked up by Caden Rose, and it's going to be a runner on third now.
Single two-base error.
As a single with a two-base error on the play by Cunningham and right.
Yeah, and Cunningham just got a little too aggressive at that line drive as that bounced in front of him, and he tried to whip it with his glove and just ended up going over it.
That puts a runner just 90 feet away from the Commodores taking the lead with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Alex Sayer digging in. The designated hitter, he's 0 for 1, drew a walk back in the 3rd. First pitch by Cherry on the outside corner, called strike. Still coming in, pumping 92 on the fastball.
He was watching the runner, he wasn't paying attention to the ball. Exactly what happened.
The 0-1 from Cherry. Popped up into shallow right field. Cunningham drifts to his left, and makes the catch to end the inning. The error does not come back to haunt Hyannis as Falmouth strands 1. Bottom of the 5th. Coming up in just a moment, we're tied on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network.
second baseman, the kid who pinched it.
Back here for the bottom of the 5th inning as I get ready to turn things over to my broadcast partner, Lincoln Revill. Lincoln, play-by-play duties are all yours for the remainder of the ball game.
All right, thank you, Austin. Now at the plate, coming up for the Harbor Hawks is going to be Jake Cunningham, as he is 2 for 2 with a pair of singles setting in. Just started for the Harbor Hawks last night, or the other night that is, and went 1 for 4. So he's already had 3 hits in just 2 games. As back on the mound for the Commodores is going to be DeFabia. That's Anthony DeFabia back for his 2nd inning of work, as that first pitch comes in for strike 1.
A little bit of rearranging on the Commodore defense as Ahuna, who pinch hit for Boyers, has come into the game at second base, which sends the second baseman Curiali out to center field.
Very interesting little switch there, as you don't see an infielder go to the outfield every day. As this one's hit over to third. Throw to first is in time for out number 1.
Great play by DeCouta, backing up on it to get it on a hop and then making a strong throw across the diamond. You see a lot of guys sometimes get caught with the in-between short hop, but good job with the shifting of the feet to take a step back and get himself set for a strong throw for out number 1.
And in stepping Mason Greer. Greer is having some trouble at the plate tonight. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout so far to his name. DeFabia comes home, finds the outside corner for strike 1. Greer from Colleyville, Texas, attends McLennan Community College as he swings at that breaking ball coming in at 81 miles an hour. Can't connect. 0-2 the count.
We got to find a solution.
And the glass that was there, that was like this plastic, like you couldn't even see through that.
And the 0-2 misses high. Ball 1.
Wanted to get him on the fastball, but just let it sail too far up in the zone. Greer is a patient hitter. He's not going to chase that.
That high fastball can be very tempting to a lot of hitters.
As can the low breaking ball we just saw there. He's really trying to get Greer to chase. Doesn't want to come in the zone because he knows if he misses over the plate, Greer can put the ball to a similar spot that Zane Harris did for the Harbor Hawks.
2-2 now the count. DeFabio again from Stetson. Looking for the swing. No, he didn't. Did not go around, says the third base umpire, and that brings the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Michael Hinosa over at third tonight with the umpire duties. They've had to check with him a couple times.
Greer pops that one up over just to the left of third base for a foul ball.
Greer doing a nice job staying alive. Fouled off a good fastball at the hands. Might come back breaking ball.
And fastball on the outside gets him looking. Greer goes down with another strikeout. Now 0 for 3 on the night with a pair of Ks. And that brings Dominic Johnson up.
Yeah, 86 on the radar gun. Not an explosive pitch, but one with some movement on it. Almost like a splitter type.
I do apologize. That is actually Marcos Pujols. I skipped a line there. As Pujols 0 for 2 as well. Hit into a double play back in the first and struck out swinging in the third, looking for his first hit of the season. Watches that one go low as that bounces off the glove there of French.
Made a name for himself at Dayton this year, just absolutely destroying the competition, did Pujols. I'm sure that success will translate shortly here into the Cape Cod Baseball League, as Pujols was named to the ABCA Rawlings East All-Region second team thanks to his successful season at Dayton, where he hit .346 with 12 homers. And he's definitely a pro hitter.
Ended with a .307 average as he watches that 1-1 pitch go high and away for ball 2. So 2 balls and 1 strike to count with 2 away, nobody on. DeFabia misses inside. Bring up a 3-1 count. Pujols again is betting average here in the Cape at all zeros, as he is still looking for that first hit of the season. Big swing there, looking for a long first hit, as that brings the count now to full 3-2. The payoff, swing and a miss there, strike 3, and that is out number 3. Harborhawks go down in order as we head to the 6th inning, all tied up at 2 apiece on the Harborhawk Baseball Network. Back at Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field at McKeon Park, Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta here for the top of the 6th inning. The Commodores getting another set of at-bats here as Jake Borfin will start them off, followed by Bryson Ware and Anthony Hall. Now on the mound for the Harborhawks is going to be Angus McCloskey from Pace University. Didn't see very much action this season for Pace, as he only had a third of an inning pitched.
He's thrown 1 scoreless inning so far here for Hyannis. No hits allowed, no runs, 2 walks, and a punch-out.
As he ends up hitting Borfin, looked like near the hip, as he'll now reach base.
Looks like the slider kind of slipped out of the hand a little bit early, or a little late, rather. Just came inside on the left-handed batter.
And you'll see that every once in a while, as trying to, again, find his groove, just like Saravo was at the beginning of this game.
That one fouled straight off the mask of, I think it caught post the catcher and Leon, the home plate umpire, but both men are back on their feet.
McCloskey, as Austin mentioned, already has 1 appearance under his belt coming against Katuitt, and the Harborhawks taking a 7-4 win over the Kedliers. One and one now the count. Ware currently at 0 for 2 has a pair of strikeouts, 1 looking and 1 swinging so far.
Wouldn't be surprised if they put Borfin in motion at some point during this inning. He's getting a solid lead at first.
Yeah, already a big lead as McCloskey comes set, and then he gets a couple of extra steps there on that secondary. Seems to be about a quarter of the way to second by the time the ball reaches home. The 3-1 is a high pop-up that's over towards first. It's going to be Pujols selling under it and making the grab for out number 1. And Ware's going to go down with an F3 for the first out of this 6th inning. With Jace Borfin still over at first. That's going to bring Anthony Hall to the plate. Hall is also 0 for 2, has a couple of flyouts, one to left and then one over to third. So he's been staying, he's a little bit behind the ball so far tonight as he's hit both opposite field.
Lead getting a little bigger over at first for Borfin.
The 1-0's fouled off. That heads out of play as that goes towards the parking lot.
It does evade all the cars out there, fortunately, for the fans in attendance and those who are parked back behind home plate.
Somehow it somehow misses every car out there. Runner goes over from first, and that ball gets past post. As Borfin, round second, almost thinks about going to third, but ends up staying at second base. He's in scoring position, though, as count now goes to 2-1 to Hall.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't surprised that they put him in motion in this at-bat. Was able to time up McCloskey pretty well.
McCloskey dealing from the stretch. He comes set. Here's the 2-1. It's a long drive over towards left field. That's nearing the wall at the warning track. And that's going to be brought in by Hall.
Nice catch
Excuse
by
me, that was
Dominic Johnson.
That was Johnson, yes. I do apologize there. As that is an out for Hall as he goes down with the F7. Another one. That's 2 flyouts for from the bat of Hall over to Dominic Johnson out and left. And with now 2 away, Jonathan French is going to come up to the plate. And Austin, we've seen just how heavy the bat of French can be.
Well, let me put it this way. First base is open if you want. He's swinging the bat really, really well tonight. I mean, they're going to pitch to him, obviously, but the point is he's timing up everything so far through 2 different pitchers.
Yeah, French already with a double and a long ball as he had a double in the second and a solo shot back in the fourth. That one misses high, brings the count now to 2-0. All tied up across the scoreboard, both the Commodores and the Harbor Hawks, 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error apiece. As that one finds the zone, bringing the count to 2-1 now.
Tried to build one out of Legos.
2-1 count, might get a fastball that he can drive.
Runner goes from second. The throw over to third from post is offline.
And they're getting a real good jump off McCloskey's. He was moving before McCloskey even really moved towards home. He's going to have to change up his delivery once he gets a guy on first again, if that does happen. Runner on third now. Not sure the Commodores will be bold enough to steal home.
Borfin at 6'2", 205 over at third, and we've seen the speed from him so far as he's stolen 2 bases. As the count goes now to full to French. Harbor Hawks looking for that final out. There's the 3-2 swing and a miss. The first put out for French as he goes down to 2 for 3 now, and that ends the top of the 6th. The Commodores, that is, go down no runs on no hits, no errors, 1 left stranded. Borfin left over at third, and we'll be back bottom of the 6th on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Dominic Johnson going to start us off, followed by Zane Harris and Dylan Post. That is 6, 7, and 8 coming up for the Harbor Hawks. As we get ready for the bottom of the 6th inning, Johnson up first, currently at 0 for 2, two flyouts to his name, and those balls didn't leave the infield. He had one over to second base back in the second, and then ended up fouling out back in the third.
Just getting under the ball just a bit. Minor adjustment. I'm sure he'll make, and he hits on the ground this time.
Just going to hit over to second. That's going to be picked up and thrown to first for out number 1, as Johnson goes down to 0 for 3. And Zane Harris, who we've also seen has a heavy bat, stepping up to the plate now. 2 for 2 with a double and a home run as well.
Yeah, the home run was hit about 400 feet to right field. I mean, that thing was deep into the woods. And then the double was hit, probably the hardest hit ball of the game down the right field line. So Harris is really timing up the pitches well today.
That first pitch is a called strike. Brings the count to 0-1, one away. And like you said, Austin, that home run that he had, just an absolute no-doubter, as that was hit a mile high and a mile deep. Count at 1-1, Harris in the left-handed box. Ooh, that one, a shot foul, would have hit into the crowd if there wasn't that net there, just above the Harbor Hawk dugout, and the count now goes to 1-2. We've seen Harris over at first a couple times this season. He's in the DH spot for tonight's game. DeFabio with the 1-2. That one hit off the handle and fouled off. We'll stay at 1-2.
What do you tell him? Just say like, hey, broadcasters get free food. Oh, from like our first meeting. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I thought you was grounded for like the concessions.
Harris coming to us from Ontario, Ohio, not to be confused, of course, with Ontario, Canada.
Fabia has a pretty solid slider changeup. His fastball sits about 88, it seems, but his pitches move a ton, which is what's throwing the Harbor Hawks off.
And that 2-2 pitch on the outside corner, a called strike 3. And Harris does not like that call, but he heads back to the dugout now at 2 for 3.
It tailed back a bit, it seemed.
And Austin, that line, the lines for Harris and French, almost identical, both with a home run, a solo home run at that, both with the double and both with the strikeout so far tonight. 2 away, Dylan Post steps up to the plate. Post has had 2 of the same outcomes in both of his at-bats, both ground outs over to second. So he lines that one down the first base line, past the glove of Ware for a base hit. As Post rounds first, he's going to head to second as that one heads to the wall, picked up by Borfin, and that is going to be a 2-out double for Dylan Post.
Great piece of hitting there by Post. Got something on the inside half of the plate, turns on it and puts it down the line. And he can run well for a catcher. That ball curved out to the right field foul territory. A lot of room down there. But Post is in there standing. And now Ricciardi's got a chance to bring a runner home with 2 away.
Yeah, Ricciardi has reached base twice tonight. Hasn't recorded a hit as he got walked and then had a fielder's choice back in the 4th. So he lines that one, and that is grabbed out of the air by DeCouta. Just a great play there from the third baseman to end the 6th inning. The Harbor Hawks go down quietly, 1 hit. As we head to the 7th, still tied up at 2 here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here, 7th inning of action coming up. The Harbor Hawks taking on the Falmouth Commodores. Lincoln Revill alongside Austin DeCouta bringing you all the action here tonight as the Commodores ready to start us off here in the top of the 7th. Jake DeCouta, who had an astounding catch to end the 6th inning, actually over at third. Starting us off, followed by Luke Boyers and Michael Curiali, as we have a new pitcher coming in for the Harbor Hawks. That is going to be Tristan Hott, coming to us from Wright State.
93 on the fastball on the first pitch. Good sign to see. Electric arm out of the bullpen.
That one fouled off. It's going to even the count at 1-1.
Taking a look at the scores from around the league as all the teams here in the Cape Cod Baseball League in action. Brewster leads Chatham 5-2. Cotuit leads YD 16-3. Bourne leads Harwich 3-1. And Wareham leads Orleans 2-1.
Another ground ball fouled off. Brings the count now to 1-2. Nobody out, nobody on. Hott for Wright State this past season had 12.1 innings under his belt. Struck out 11 in that span and had a total ERA of 3.65. Pretty good numbers there from the right-hander as he comes home with the 1-2. That one's hit up the middle for a base hit. And DeCouta, that is. Now at 2 for 3 with a double and a single to his name, along with a ground out back in the 4th, and that's going to bring Luke Boyers to the plate.
Yeah, Lincoln, in that Cotuit game, the 16-3, Cotuit's hit 3 home runs tonight, a team that the Harbor Hawks are going to see a lot this year. We're able to beat earlier in the season for our first and only win so far.
We're going to end up with 6 total games against the Kedliers, with 3 of those 6 games coming up before the end of the month.
Harbor Hawk fans will definitely get used to the Kedliers' names and faces.
Of course, the Harbor Hawks trying for their first Patriot Cup since 2015. In that 2015 year, we ended up sweeping the Kedliers 8-0. That was actually the first time in Cape Cod League history Patriot Cup League history, that is, that either the Kedliers or the Harbor Hawks swept the other team.
It's an impressive feat to beat a team 8 times in the season and not lose a single game against them.
The 1-1 swung on and missed from Boyers, bringing the count to 1-2. And in Hott's debut, it's a good outing so far from him.
Yeah, nasty 2-seam fastball there, just dove off the outer corner. Ahead on a Huna here. Big lead at first.
Hott with the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball at 84 miles an hour. And Boyers goes down swinging for his second strikeout of the night. And that was a Huna, actually, instead of Boyers at the plate. A Huna 0 for 1, actually, with a strikeout. That's going to bring Michael Curiali to the plate. Watches that first one go by for strike 1 on the inside. Brings the count to 0-1. Curiali 0 for 2. He got walked in the first. Had a ground out in the third and a strikeout. He went down looking back in the 5th.
DeCouta might be off on the pitcher. He's getting a good lead at first.
That one fouled off. A big secondary there from DeCouta. And also, I think you might be right. I think he might be trying to get an extra base here pretty soon. Curiali was at second base. Now he's out in center field. As the 0-2 comes by. And he thought about going around, but ends up keeping his bat back. Brings the count to 1-2.
Hott should look over there at first as the lead grows a little bit more.
Yeah, more than, I'd say that's about probably an 8-foot lead at least.
Just about. He's on the edge of where the grass kind of ends the half circle and just goes to a straight line.
Hot back in high school, a multi-sport athlete, that is. 4-time varsity player for baseball, 2 times in golf and soccer. Throw to first on the back pick is not in time, but they get the strikeout. Curiali ends up going down swinging for his second strikeout of the night, and with back-to-back strikeouts for Hot, Braden Taylor now steps up to the plate.
Great throw from Dylan Post there, trying to get DeCouta going back to the bag at first. Pujols was there with the tag, just DeCouta in a step ahead, but not a bad play there with him getting a sizable lead. Great throw by Post.
And I thought that might have been, the throw looked in time. The tag just came just a little bit late. The runner goes down from first. Post with the amazing throw, and they get him by a mile. That ends the top of the 7th. Beautiful throw there from Dylan Post. And we head to the bottom half of the 7th. But actually, we're going to throw it on down to Taylor. Taylor, what do you have for us?
It's a great Friday night for some baseball. The stands are packed with fans as both teams are batting pretty well. A home run team. The Harbor Hawks are starting to swing better. I caught up with Caleb Pendleton following the loss at Harwich on Wednesday night, who says it is an adjustment for these teams having to use the wooden bat, but something that they can do here tonight. They are starting to connect better. Austin and Lincoln, back to you.
Thank you, Taylor. And we're actually going to take a little bit of a break as we get ready for the bottom half of the 7th inning. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom of the 7th coming up. The 7th inning stretch just ended, along with the little bit of the chicken dance as we get ready for this next half inning of work. Caden Rose is going to start us off, followed by Kyle Ball and Jake Cunningham, the top 3 hitters coming up for the Harbor Hawks as we have a tie game here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 runs apiece between these 2 teams. Only 1 hit separating the 2. The Harbor Hawks with 6 hits, the Commodores with 5, and then both teams with an error apiece. 0-2 now the count to Rose. So he watches that one go by on the outside. A good eye there, bringing the count to 1-2.
Rose has been great since being moved to the leadoff spot for Hyannis. Scored a run this game as well.
And DeFabio still on the mound as he ends up fanning Rose. Rose goes down swinging. He now goes to 1 for 4 on the night with Kyle Ball stepping up to the plate.
The next batter for the Harbor Hawks, the shortstop from Stetson, number 27, Kyle Ball.
Ball looking for redemption against his teammate from Stetson. Got him to ground out back to the pitcher in the 4th inning.
Ball's reached base twice, looking for his first hit of the night. As he watches that one go by for ball 1. Watches that one go by as well, opposite side. For strike 1, count even at 1 apiece. And Austin, I actually saw some familiar faces, some fellow Texans down in the crowd tonight. My parents actually made the drive all the way from Texas. They're going to be here for a couple days before heading up to Boston.
That's awesome. Hope they enjoy the trip, enjoying Beautiful Massachusetts.
Made it up here almost twice as fast, more than twice as fast as I did. They left on Wednesday and got up here in 2 days.
Did you guys, I assume well, how many days did you stop then? It took you 4 then?
No, it took us 5. Yeah, it took us 5
All right.
days. But we stopped in Williamsburg, Virginia for a full day.
Okay.
So count is now full, coming up to Kyle Ball. As that one misses, ball 4, and Ball reaches base once again. No hits on the night, but he's reached base 3 times tonight. As with the runner on first and 1 away, Jake Cunningham is going to step back up to the plate. Cunningham 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. The tall and lanky right fielder.
And Lincoln, let's take a look at what's ahead for the Harbor Hawks tomorrow night, Saturday. They are in Chatham for a 7 p.m. start. Back home Sunday as they'll host this Falmouth team once again for another 6 p.m. start. Monday we hit the road to visit Catuit, 5 p.m. first pitch. And then Tuesday we are home versus Catuit again for a 6 p.m. first pitch. Going to get used to Falmouth and Catuit over the next few days.
Yeah, just a week of the same two. It's going to be an interesting couple of series.
Yeah, it's going to be so Falmouth today, Chatham tomorrow, then Falmouth, Catuit, Falmouth.
Wow.
So we will be getting very familiar with the Commodores and the Kettleers.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. DeFabia still on the mound for the Commodores, one of the longest relief appearances that we've seen this season. As he is entering his 3rd inning of work. Excuse me, this is his 4th inning of work, actually, even longer than what I anticipated. So this could be the longest relief appearance that we've seen, actually, as this one's hit over to second. That's going to be picked up and thrown to first. Throw to first is not in time, but they'll end up getting Ball trying to get to second. Now it's Taylor tossing it over to Ahuna for 1, and they just couldn't get the throw over to first in time as that was a little late. And Cunningham reaches on a fielder's choice for his 3rd time tonight.
Yeah, too much of a high chopper to short for them to turn to. It was a relatively fast flip from Taylor. Ahuna turned it, but Cunningham runs well to get down the line. And 2 outs in the inning can still be in business here with Cunningham's speed at first.
And now Mason Greer is going to step back up. Mason Greer 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. He also had a fly out as this one's thrown to first. Runner goes over from first, and he tries to slide around the tag, but he can't do it as they will get Cunningham on his steal attempt. And we head to the 8th, still all notched up at 2 runs apiece between the Commodores and the Harbor Hawks. We'll be right back on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. New pitcher coming into the mound for the Harbor Hawks. This is Trey Braithwaite. As we get ready for the top half of the 8th inning, due up for the Commodores is going to be Braden Taylor, followed by Alex Sayer and Jace Borfin.
Yeah, Braithwaite was very sharp in his debut appearance against DeCouta, picking up the 4-out save, a pair of strikeouts, no base runners allowed, but unfortunately he allows a base runner here.
Yeah, leadoff base hit on the first pitch of his outing for Braden Taylor. Taylor was actually at bat back in the 7th whenever DeCouta ended up trying to steal second base. And we saw that throw from post, a beautiful throw from the Harbor Hawk catcher.
I was talking to a couple of the catchers before the game. Caleb Pendleton told me his favorite catcher was Yadier Molina. He had Ryan Prado down there. Told me about how Yadi was also one of his favorite catchers. He's a big Red Sox fan as Prado. We haven't seen him yet.
That throw from Braithwaite misses high and away. Evens the count 1-1. Braithwaite, the senior at the United States Naval Academy. Not a far drive here from Annapolis up to the Cape. Not terribly far, I will say. 1-2 now the count. Braithwaite spikes that one in the dirt. That one gets past post. That will enable Taylor to get to second easily. He practically jogs his way there.
Yeah, wild pitch there. He just put the fastball into the dirt too much. But ahead in the count 1-2 nonetheless. A good chance for him to break out that slider that he utilizes. Or the off-speed pitch, rather.
2-2 now the count. Sayer at 0 for 2 on the night as that one's in the dirt as well. Post gets that one in front of him. Throw to third is not in time. As Taylor now 90 feet away from home with nobody out.
Yeah, Braithwaite spikes back-to-back fastballs in the dirt, but almost a heck of a play as the count moves to 3-2.
Count is full. The pitch from Braithwaite misses high, ball 4.
Dude, this team always falls apart in the 8th inning. Against Bourne, against
And Sayer now reaches first, with Jace Borfin stepping up to the plate. And Austin, if you're the Harbor Hawks here in the 8th, this is not the start that you would have wanted to this inning.
No, it's definitely not. It's a little bit of control issues for Braithwaite, but you know, he's throwing 94. He's got a live arm on the mound, so if he can just find that strike zone, ideally you go for the punch out here. The double play is in order, but that run is key, and the Harbor Hawks aren't playing in on the grass for that run. With a tied game here, you don't want Taylor to come in from third.
For a lot of the Hyannis pitchers so far tonight, it's taken a little time for them to find their groove. And it's taking Braithwaite a little bit of time as well. Count is at 0-2. The pitch comes home. He misses that one on the outside. Borfin now with a 1-2 count.
this guy was ranked 38 in the country in his class by perfect game. Goes to the Sooner.
Ripped down the third base line, just foul. That most definitely, if that had gotten through, would have been extra bases.
Yeah, that definitely scores Taylor from third, and that puts you in an interesting spot with the runner from first. If he's getting a decent jump, there's a chance he comes around too.
And the home plate umpire says, yes, you did go on that 1-2 pitch, so that's Borfin going down with a strikeout. And that was actually a drop third strike, but with first base being occupied, goes down with that strikeout. And Bryson Ware now steps to the plate.
Yeah, that's the big strikeout we were looking for, Lincoln. We just talked about it. Get the strikeout here. Now you put the double play in order with one away. You're in a much more comfortable position. Well, not comfortable yet, but you're in a better position than you were with no outs.
And we're going to have a pinch hitter come in here. This is Brennan Malone, coming to us from South Carolina, Columbia. Count is at 0-1. Braithwaite delivers. That one gets past post, and that will score a run for the Commodores. They're going to take a 3-2 lead here in the top of the 8th. As Taylor comes home from third. Meanwhile, Sayer will extend over to second.
Yeah, the third wild pitch of the inning. Taylor gets on with a single, wild pitch to second, wild pitch to third, and comes home on a wild pitch that Malone chased out of the zone as well. So he's behind 0-2.
The 0-2 from Braithwaite misses down low. And Post tried to get in the way of that pass ball, but ended up just going right underneath him. As Braithwaite ready with the 1-2. Misses on the outside, evens the count. Two balls and 2 strikes to count now as we have that last little bit of daylight starting to flutter past the horizon. The 2-2 swung on and missed. And Malone goes down swinging in his first at-bat, now 0 for 1 with a strikeout, with Anthony Hall up to the plate.
Great pitch there by Braithwaite. He's a good strikeout pitcher. In his first outing, as I mentioned, he had 2 strikeouts. Both outs he's gotten so far in this 8th inning are by the punch-out. Really just the wild pitches coming back to hurt him.
Yeah, you see he's throwing that, little faceplant there over at third as Sayer ends up stealing third on that blocked pitch from Post. But you see Braithwaite brings his arm straight up over the middle, almost like a little catapult motion. So that, as he's proven this inning, that can lead to a lot of spiked balls in the dirt.
And another one, 2 in a row in this at-bat. 5 in the inning that have been in the dirt. Post is staying busy back there, but unfortunately for Hyannis, it's allowed the runners to move station to station and all the way home for 1.
2-0 the count. Braithwaite delivers, and that one's hit through for a base hit between first and second. That's going to score another run. And the Commodores now double their lead, leading 4-2.
It's been the 8th inning that's been the problem this year for Hyannis. Lincoln against Bourne. 3 runs come across. Then Harwich, we had that disastrous inning where 4 runs come across.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, those late innings definitely proving costly to the Harbor Hawks.
Now the guy who's been the hottest hitter for the Commodores in this game comes back to the plate in French, who's homered and doubled already Lincoln. He's driving the ball to the gaps really, really well. And although 2 outs and only a runner on first, you don't want to leave anything over the plate.
Now with every swing from French, you got to be worried about what that ball's going to do as he's hit 2 deep ones.
Looks like Braithwaite just overthrowing in this inning. He's bounced a few fastballs in front of home. Post has been able to stop him somewhat, but when it's 94 coming in the dirt, it's going to ricochet off of you.
Seems like a pretty cool guy.
Here's the 2-0. A hefty swing there, but he can't connect. French goes down to a 2-1 count.
The first game had like some kind of attitude thing going on. Like I asked them information, and they look at me like, "You don't know that already?"
And again, tomorrow night we're going to be traveling over to Cotuit for Game 2 of the 21-21 Patriot Cup.
Tomorrow night we'll be in Chatham.
Oh, Chatham, I do.
7.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh.
Don't get too
Yeah.
far ahead. I know we're looking forward
Yeah.
to that Patriot Cup, but
Yeah, good save.
Yeah, my goodness. Oh, man.
7 p.m. start, our latest start time of the year in Chatham tomorrow. And again, remember, we only are able to broadcast the audio on the road games for those fans that are listening. We do video and audio here at home, but we hope that you still tune in to keep up to date with how the Harbor Hawks are doing on the road.
Full count with 2 away now. Braithwaite with a look over at second. Comes home. Swing and a miss. French goes down swinging for the 2nd time in a row as he now falls to 2 for 4. That ends the top of the 8th. The Commodores add 2 runs and double their lead now to 4-2 as we head to the bottom of the 8th here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom half of the 8th here, the Harbor Hawks trailing 4-2 against the Falmouth Commodores. As Mason Greer is going to step back up to the plate after Jake Cunningham ended up getting picked off, trying to extend over to second.
And a new pitcher on the mound for Falmouth, lefty Chase Jeter. And Lincoln, he was dominant last summer with the FCBL, one of the few leagues in the country that were in action. He was 3-1 with a 1.75 ERA for the Westfield Starfires, 36 innings, 36 strikeouts. And he was one of the best left-handed pitchers in the entire FCBL last summer. I got a chance to see him in action, and he was really untouchable for most of the summer.
Jeter coming to us from Sacred Heart University from Fairfield, Connecticut. Has a 1-1 count to Greer as that one misses down low. Greer at 0 for 3, as we said last inning. 2 strikeouts to his name along with the flyout. That 2-1 knocked over towards second. That's going to be picked up, this one by Ahuna, and he'll throw that one over to first for out number 1.
Scuttered in on the hands a little bit, did Greer. Spits it out to second. If that ball's barreled up, it's probably in the gap, but just jammed him a little bit. And interesting, not interesting, but a smart move by the Commodores to bring in a left-handed pitcher to this lefty-heavy order. As you saw, Greer, Pujols, lefty-lefty, then a right-hander in Johnson, followed by 3 more lefties. So wouldn't be surprised if Jeter works this inning and next for the Commodores.
As you mentioned, Pujols knocks this one up the middle. That's going to be picked up by Taylor. Throw to first is in time for out number 2. A very quick second out.
And Pujols barreled up 2 balls today to short, but has been robbed of a base hit on a nice leaping catch earlier in the ball game by Taylor, and this one was just right to him. The bat may have shattered a bit. Not sure, I saw some dust kick off of it or some shards, but Pujols is hitting the ball a little bit better today, just hasn't fallen where he needs it to go.
And he's slowly getting to that point where at some point he's going to get that first hit. And when he does, I have a good feeling that the hits just aren't going to stop coming once he gets that first one. And that first pitch, Dominic Johnson missing a little bit down low, brings the count to 1-0 to him. Johnson 0 for 3 with a pair of flyouts and a ground out. All to the infield, a flyout and a ground out over to second, and then he ended up fouling out behind the plate as French ended up coming over to make the grab at the netting. Jeter delivers the 1-1, missing just a bit outside. And on deck, the heavy hitter that we've seen, Zane Harris, as Johnson swings at this one and misses, bringing the count even at 2.
Chase Jeter sporting 22. You think that's any connection there with Derek Jeter, who wore number 2?
Yeah, I saw him throw the other night.
Maybe like the 2 squared almost, you know?
And double the 2-2.
Yeah, some people instead of the 2.0, they might go 2 squared. So maybe something similar to that. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
And another left-hander warming up in the Falmouth bullpen.
Here's the tiebreaker. A breaking ball, and Johnson doesn't even swing all the way through, as that is strike 3 and out number 3. The Harbor Hawks go down in order as we head to the 9th. Commodores up 4-2 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Last inning of action here tonight. But before we get started, as Post ends up throwing that one down, fans, for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Trey Braithwaite back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks, trying to finish out his night. And Jake DeCouta is going to start us off here, followed by Luke Boyer, or excuse me, that is Ahuna and Michael Curiali. As DeCouta comes to us at 2 for 3 on the night with a double, a single, and he had a ground out back in the fourth. Count is at 0-1. That one misses outside to even the count. DeCouta over at third base. This count now goes to 1-2. Nobody out, nobody on.
Braithwaite consistently at 92, has reached as high as 94 on the fastball. Definitely electric stuff. Had a little bit of control issues last inning, but we'll see if he can straighten it out here.
Braithwaite originally from Winchester, Virginia, standing at 6'3", 210 pounds. Has been named to the All-Patriot League first and second team in his career. As this one is lifted into shallow left center field and dropped for a base hit. This is going to be a leadoff single for Jake DeCouta.
And DeCouta was caught stealing back in the 7th inning. I don't imagine he's going to try to swipe another bag here. And Braithwaite really did a lot of things well in that at-bat. Did jam him on the hands, but sometimes in baseball you do everything right, and a jam shot like that can just fall in a place where there's no defense.
That one's ripped back up the middle, as that's through for a base hit for Walter Ahuna. With back-to-back singles, Commodores find themselves with a runner in scoring position once again.
Jumped all over the first pitch fastball from Braithwaite. No action yet in the Harbor Hawk bullpen. We'll see if Braithwaite can battle through.
Michael Curiali now at the plate for the Commodores. Curiali at 0 for 3. He walked in the first and since then has struck out twice and had a ground out in the third. Curiali at 6'2", 195 pounds. Was drafted in the 31st round of the 2019 MLB draft. As this one's hit back up the middle, that's going to be Braithwaite throwing it to third for one, and they're going to stay with only that out. As DeCouta ends up getting thrown out on his way to third. Meanwhile, Boyer's extending over to second, and Curiali reaches on the fielder's choice.
And gets the leading runner there, and now the double play still in order with runners on first and second and one away.
I don't trust the pizza if it's $1.
And with one away, you have that chance for that double play with the force. Really, you could get a double play if it goes to any bag. As Braden Taylor watches that first one go by, that's a called strike, bringing the count now to 0-1. Taylor over at short for the Commodores here tonight. Braithwaite comes home with the 0-1. Post getting more work in as he has to jump in front of that one, bringing the count even at 1 apiece. The 1-1 is a long drive back nearing the wall out in right field, and that is going to be brought under by Cunningham for out number 2.
Ooh. Nice throw by Cunningham from the warning track all the way into second. Strong arm out there in right field. I was talking to Jake Cunningham earlier this week about the outfield and where he's most comfortable. He likes right and center, but he said not a big fan of playing left field. Something about it out there kind of keeps him away. We've seen him back-to-back nights in his most comfortable spot of right field.
Now with 2 away, Alex Sayer will step in as he swings at that first pitch and fouls it off down the first base line out of play. Sayer, the designated hitter, currently sitting at only 0 for 2. He's had 4 appearances, has walked twice, and has 2 flyouts. The 0-1 drops in for a strike at 82 miles an hour, brings the count now to 0-2. Braithwaite looking for that last strike. Here's the 0-2. Called, strike 3. And that ends the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Harbor Hawks coming up after the break on Baseball Network. Bottom half of the 9th coming up here at Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field. Harbor Hawks taking on the Falmouth Commodores here on this beautiful Friday night for baseball. And we have a new pitcher coming in for the Commodores. This is Michael Esposito, coming to us also from South Carolina, Columbia, the senior. Now on the mound, as Zane Harris is going to start us off here for the Harbor Hawks, followed by Dylan Post and Mariano Ricciardi. 7, 8, 9 coming up for the home team.
Still a handful of scouts in attendance, about 15 or so down in the scout bleachers down below us. Radar guns ready to go as they want to get a measurement here on Esposito. I'm sure they're sticking around to see what Zane Harris can do, Lincoln. He's been on fire in this game.
He has. We've seen a lot of power from Harris so far. A home run and a double along with a strikeout. So he's 2 for 3 on the night.
Lefty-lefty matchup as it's Harris, Post, and Ricciardi, all lefties this inning.
And French was lined up on the outside. That one coming actually down the heart of the plate for strike 1.
Yeah, Falmouth out hitting the Harbor Hawks 10-6, outscoring them 4-2. Just getting more base runners tonight, and the Harbor Hawks bats haven't completely come alive yet. We're still waiting on a offensive explosion as they were shut out in game 1, then scored 7 against Katuitt, 2 against Harwich, and now tonight with 2 on the board against Falmouth. We're waiting for that kind of explosion. You know, Katuitt was 7 runs, but there were a couple errors and wild pitches that helped the Harbor Hawks get on the board. So one of these nights soon, we're going to see a big night offensively.
Yeah, and that game against Katuitt definitely the biggest hit that the biggest game that the Harbor Hawk bats have had all season. 2-1 now the count. Esposito, the southpaw, comes home, and Harris tries to take another inside pitch yard, but ends up unable to connect, bringing the count to 2-2.
Good swing by Harris. His head came up just a little bit as he really wanted to turn on that inside pitch, as you mentioned, Lincoln. A lot of room down the right field line, too, for a guy who has pulled both of his hits. You think they'd shade him a little bit more that way.
Here's the 2-2. Ball in the dirt on the outside, brings the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out, nobody on.
Good job by Harris out of the leadoff spot in the inning, working a full count.
The payoff is fouled off. We'll stay at 3-2.
Pitch 7 coming up, making Esposito work out of the bullpen. That's what you're going to have to do here in the 9th. You're down 2. Harris knows he can't win it with one swing of the bat, but getting on base and starting things off right will help Hyannis start to claw their way back here in the bottom of the 9th. Big pitch upcoming here for the Commodores.
Yeah, late inning rally, very much needed by the home team here as this payoff pitch comes home, and that is a broken bat. Dribbler up the middle as that is thrown over by Taylor for out number 1. Good play over there by the shortstop.
Unfortunately for Harris, he's going to need a new piece of lumber for next at bat, which will, statistically, you can't get up again in this game. We don't play extra innings here in Hyannis or in the Cape Cod Baseball League at all, so we'll have some time to pick out a new piece of bat for next game.
And it looks like that was actually a very clean break by the look of it. It seems that it just snapped. Didn't really shatter, didn't splinter, it just broke in half.
What happens lefty-lefty, you get that fastball on the hands on the handle. 93 on the fastball to the bullpen. That's electric stuff coming from the left side.
And that fastball at 93, missing a little bit outside. Brings the count to 1-0 with 1 away. And that was a nasty breaking ball, if I do say so myself, coming in at 81 miles an hour. 12-mile-an-hour difference between the two. Esposito, 6 foot, 190 pounds. Lefty brings it home, and is that one fouled off out of play as that lands on top of the Harbor Hawk dugout.
I'm trying to get it. Come on, buddy. There you go.
A lucky fan reaching underneath the netting for that foul ball. And one thing we've noticed this season, fans will do anything for that nice little souvenir from the ballpark.
The fastball is so tough on the left-handed hitters. You saw Harris's bat shatter on him. Post just got jammed and popped one foul, and now went around, got tied up on one. Esposito has no reason to throw another pitch besides that fastball inside on these left-handed hitters.
Count it 2-2.
Looks like he's going outside here.
He does go for the outside, but can't make it. That brings up a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away.
So you had Post pop-up foul, and then you had him jammed on the swinging and turning around kind of on the inside fastball. I would have just tripled up on it. It seems like the lefties are having trouble, but they try to go outside corner. We'll see if they go back inside here on full count.
I guess they might have been anticipating the inside with that third pitch.
Yeah, the lefties just having a tough time getting around on it, even if they know it's coming. Get another left-handed hitter here in Ricciardi before we get back to the top of the order. 1 out in the inning. Harbor Hawks got a base runner, and with Hyannis with us not playing extra innings, that's why we're gonna have a pinch runner. Looks like Ryan Romano gonna get the pinch hit duty, the pinch run duties rather, for the catcher Dylan Post.
That's the last half inning, so you don't have to worry about him playing catcher.
And that's going to bring Mario Ricciardi up to the plate. Ricciardi with that aggressive bat waggle that we've seen. As that one sails back to the backstop. And Romano easily reaching second. As that brings the count to 1-0.
I think Ricciardi's going to be grateful he's only 5'7" on that pitch. As that one just sailed over his head. If he was a couple inches taller, that probably gets him right off the helmet.
Runner now on second. Romano getting his lead. Ricciardi ready for the 1-0.
Romano's a good base runner. He did get caught stealing in Harwich on Wednesday. I don't expect him to be too aggressive because his run doesn't necessarily matter as much, not the tying run. We're going to have a mound visit here. No action in the bullpen, though, for the Commodores, but definitely something worth chatting with your pitcher. You know, a couple wild pitches, a walk. So want to get him straight here, looking for the save.
Yeah, and you were saying that Romano definitely not wanting to try to get too aggressive, and especially with 1 out away in the last inning, you want to try to preserve those outs and really just take your time and make sure that you can let your hitters get some hits.
That's the thing is, even if he steals third or gets to third, I mean, and he scores, they're still down a run. So
yeah, of course. It's kind of, as you said, it's a little pointless to be so aggressive down 2 runs. And we're going to disband that mound meeting as we're ready to get back to action here.
John Leon, the home plate umpire, in the Blazer tonight. Get the game moving pretty rapidly through the first 9 innings.
That's a
first 8+.
Snazzy look behind the plate, I have to say.
Maybe going to formal after this.
That 2-0 pitch misses outside. Count it 3 balls and no strikes. And Ricciardi probably with a red light here as this 3-0 pitch comes in right down the heart of the plate for strike 1.
Yeah, he had just walked post in the at-bat previously. 3 straight balls to Ricciardi. That bat was not moving from that shoulder.
3-1 now the count. Pitch from Esposito. Misses outside, ball 4. Runners now on first and second with back-to-back walks for Caden Rose. And Rose has a single already tonight. Along with that, he's flown out twice, both to the outfield, and he's struck out. So he has been putting the ball in play. If he can get this ball down in the outfield, that could score a run for the Harbor Hawks and get another runner into scoring position. And a hefty hack there. That fastball at 93 as Rose can't connect with that one, and he tried to swing out of his cleats there as that brings the count to 0-1.
There's good speed on the bases. Romano at second, Ricciardi at first, and he's a guy, if you put the ball deep enough into the gap, you could be looking at a play near the plate with Ricciardi coming all the way around.
That 0-1 pitch missing up high. 1-1 now the count.
Tying run at first, Lincoln, the go-ahead run at the plate. Big scenario here for the Harbor Hawks.
Two and 1 now the count. Esposito comes set, takes a quick look at second before coming home, missing up high.
And I wonder if there's going to be some action in the Commodore bullpen after this at bat.
If you end up walking Rose or getting him on base, I would get some action going in there. He's starting to struggle a bit on the mound. 3-1, not a full swing there from Rose. I don't think he fully wanted to commit to that swing, but he went far enough to where that brings the count full. 3-2. With 1 away.
Yeah, Rose knew a fastball was coming. He just didn't commit to getting his bat around in time. 3-2, he's got a couple ways he can go.
That misses down low, ball 4. So the base is loaded now. The game-winning run over at first with Kyle Ball at the plate.
Yeah, we saw the Harbor Hawks load the bases in Bourne in the top of the 9th inning, but nobody scored in that situation. A little bit of redemption here for Hyannis if they can come through with Kyle Ball at the dish. Double play is in order, so you don't want to put the ball on the ground, especially to the middle of the infield. Ricciardi on second runs well, and so does Rose on first. But Ricciardi is the run that you need in.
Yeah, with that game in Bourne, bases were loaded, and reminder, with 1 out.
Similar situation, identical situation, actually.
Yeah.
Just got to put a ball in play. You need to, but you got to start by getting the first guy home from third.
The 0-1. A late swing there from Ball. That brings the count now to 0-2.
It's been just doubling up on the fastball. He doesn't have great control in the inning, so that's his pitch. There it is again.
Ball missing outside. He's got a lot of speed, but so far he's been missing a lot of those fastballs outside. He's trying for that outside corner a bit, trying to keep that ball away from the bats of the Harbor Hawks, but he's going a little too far as this one hit over towards first. And that's going to score a run for the Hawks as Ware is going to step on the bag himself. And does take away the force play with 2 runners in scoring position now for Jake Cunningham.
In my opinion, this is the guy you want at the plate. Pair of singles in this game. A single against Harwich. Hits lefties pretty well. Tying run at third.
This one lofted, and that's going to head out of play. As Austin mentioned, game-tying run at third, game-winning run in scoring position over at second.
And Rose runs well at second. Got good speed, the starting center fielder for Hyannis today. He can definitely score on a ball to the outfield.
The Harbor Hawk bullpen on their feet as that 0-1 pitch finds the outside corner for strike 2.
Tough pitch there on the outside half of the plate. Down to the final strike here for Cunningham.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, drop third strike. Runner goes, play at home. Throw to first is in time. And that is out number 3. So that run does not count, as the Falmouth Commodores are going to take a narrow 4-3 win as that comeback from the Harbor Hawks ends up falling short. And Austin, that's just a rough loss on the Harbor Hawks once again. The same situation as we had in Bourne and just couldn't get it done once again.
Hey, I mean, the thing is the hit, Lincoln. They're able to load the bases in the 9th inning on walks, and the 6th hit run hasn't moved that much, and they've just struggled a little bit to get runs across, but you're seeing some signs of encouragement. They have solid plate discipline. Zane Harris played really well tonight for Hyannis with a couple extra base hits, and things are moving in the right direction. Just got to put some hits together and get some more runs in.
That's going to do it for us here from Judy, Walden, Scarifile Field in Hyannis, Massachusetts. For our producers, Matt and Harrison, for our Sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, and for my partner, Austin DeCouta, I'm Lincoln Revill saying so long, good night, and God bless.